Welcome to Elevate and Thrive, where your mindset evolves. Your future self is begging you to start today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Today, because one day sooner than you think, you will wake up and realize time didn't wait for you. The world kept moving, the years kept passing, and the life you dreamed about stayed exactly where it was in your imagination. Your future self is watching you right now, the version of you 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They are looking back at this moment, at this decision, at this day, and they are asking one question. Why didn't you start when you had the chance? You keep telling yourself you have time. You keep telling yourself you'll do it later. You keep waiting for motivation, for confidence, for the perfect moment. But the truth is, the perfect moment is a lie. The perfect moment doesn't arrive. It is created. The perfect moment is a lie that keeps millions of people trapped. It is the most dangerous excuse because it sounds reasonable, it sounds responsible, it sounds like patience. But in reality, waiting for the perfect moment is nothing more than fear wearing a mask. It is procrastination dressed up as planning. It is hesitation pretending to be preparation. The truth is simple. The perfect moment does not exist. It never has. It never will. People spend years telling themselves they will start when life calms down, when they have more time, when they feel more confident, when they have more money, when the conditions are better. But life does not hand you perfect conditions. Life is messy. Life is unpredictable. Life is always going to give you reasons to wait. And if you keep listening, you will spend your entire life standing still. The perfect moment is a fantasy because growth is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. Starting is uncomfortable. That is why the mind searches for a reason to delay. It wants certainty before action. It wants comfort before effort. But success does not work that way. Progress does not work that way. Transformation does not work that way. Action is what creates clarity. Action is what creates confidence. Action is what creates momentum. You do not become ready and then start. You start, and through starting, you become ready. That is the difference between people who change their lives and people who stay stuck. The people who win are not waiting for perfect timing. They are moving with imperfect circumstances. Think about it. If the perfect moment was required for success, no one would ever succeed. Every great story begins in uncertainty. Every breakthrough begins with doubt. Every achievement begins with a first step taken before everything feels safe. The perfect moment is not a doorway that opens for you. It is something you build by walking forward anyway. Most people believe motivation comes first. They believe they must feel inspired before they act. But motivation is unreliable. Motivation fades. Discipline matters. But action is the spark. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you move, you gain energy. When you start, you feel progress. When you take the first step, you awaken the part of you that believes it is possible. The perfect moment keeps you dreaming instead of doing. It keeps you imagining instead of building. It keeps you talking instead of becoming. It steals your time in silence. And the worst part is that you don't notice it happening. You think you are waiting for the right time, but the truth is time is passing while you wait. Action is not about being fearless. Action is about being willing to begin even with doubt, willing to try even without guarantees, willing to fail and learn, willing to look foolish, willing to be uncomfortable, because discomfort is the price of growth and action is the payment. Every life-changing decision begins with an imperfect start. The first workout, the first application, the first attempt, the first day of discipline, the first moment you choose effort over excuses. That moment is never perfect, but it is powerful. You don't need more time. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need permission. You need movement. You need a decision. You need to stop waiting for life to get easier and start becoming stronger. Action creates the right time because action changes you. It changes your mindset. It changes your habits. It changes your identity. Every time you act, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every time you take a step, you become someone who moves forward, and that is how the perfect moment is created. Not by waiting, by doing. The right time is not someday. The right time is not when you feel ready. The right time is when you decide that your future matters more than your fear. The perfect moment is a lie. Action is the truth. Your future self is watching your choices right now. Not in some imaginary, distant way, but in a real and powerful sense. The person you will become is being shaped by what you do today. Every habit you repeat, every excuse you accept, every action you take or avoid is writing the story your future self will have to live. Most people think the future is something that just arrives. They treat it like a destination that will eventually appear no matter what they do. But the future is not automatic. It is built quietly, daily, through decisions that seem small in the moment but become massive over time. Your future self is not created by one big breakthrough. They are created by the way you spend ordinary days, the way you wake up, the way you talk to yourself, the way you handle discomfort, the way you respond when no one is watching. Right now, your future self is either being strengthened or being burdened. Every choice is a message. Every action is a vote. When you choose discipline, you are voting for a stronger, more confident version of yourself. When you choose comfort, you are voting for the same life, the same regrets, the same cycle. Your future self will live with the results of what you do today. They will carry the body you build or neglect. They will carry the skills you practice or ignore. They will carry the opportunities you chase or let slip away. They will carry the consequences of your consistency or your delay. Imagine meeting the version of you 1 year from now. What would they say? Would they thank you for starting? Would they thank you for showing up when it was hard? Would they thank you for pushing through the days you wanted to quit? Or would they look at you with disappointment knowing you had the chance and chose not to take it? That is the reality most people avoid. They live as if tomorrow is guaranteed, as if time is endless, as if their future self will somehow fix everything. But your future self is not a stranger. Your future self is you, and they are depending on you. Every time you procrastinate, you are not just delaying a task, you are delaying a better life. Every time you choose the easy path, you are making the hard path longer. Every time you avoid the work, you are handing your future self a heavier load. Your future self is watching you scroll when you should be building, watching you sleep on your dreams, watching you say later again and again, watching you settle for average when you were meant for more. But your future self is also watching when you choose differently, when you get up early, when you train your body, when you study, when you work in silence. When you say no to distractions, when you do what most people won't, those moments matter. Those moments are everything, because the future is not built in loud, dramatic events. It is built in private decisions. The decision to show up, the decision to stay consistent, the decision to keep going when motivation fades. Your future self is watching because they are the result of your choices. They are the reward or the regret. They are the proof of what you did with your time. One day you will wake up and you will be living in the future you are creating right now. You will either feel proud that you started when it was hard, or you will feel the weight of knowing you wasted time you can never get back. This is not pressure, this is power, because it means your life is in your hands. It means you are not stuck. It means you can change the direction starting today. Your future self is watching not to judge you, but to remind you that every small choice is shaping something bigger. The person you want to become is waiting on the other side of the decisions you make today. Every day you delay is a vote for regret instead of growth. That truth is uncomfortable because it forces you to see procrastination for what it really is. It is not harmless, it is not neutral, it is not simply taking a break. Delay is a decision, and every decision has a direction. When you choose to delay, you are choosing to stay the same. You are choosing the life you already have over the life you say you want. Most people don't realize how powerful a single day is. They think change requires some huge moment, some dramatic turning point, some explosion of motivation. But life doesn't change in one day. Life changes because of what you do with days, one after another. And when you keep delaying, you are stacking days that lead nowhere. You are building a future made of missed chances. Regret is not something that suddenly appears at the end of life. Regret is built slowly. It is built every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow." It is built every time you avoid the hard thing that could have made you stronger. It is built every time you choose comfort over progress. And one day, you look back and realize you didn't lose your dream in one big failure. You lost it in 1,000 small delays. Growth demands action. Growth demands discomfort. Growth demands that you show up even when you don't feel ready. But delay feels easier. Delay feels safe. Delay gives you the illusion that you are still in control because you can always start later. But later is not guaranteed. Later is not promised. Later is where dreams go to die. Every time you delay, you are making a statement about what matters to you. You are telling yourself that your goals can wait. You are telling yourself that your potential is optional. You are telling yourself that the person you want to become is not urgent. And the longer you repeat that message, the more you believe it. People think regret comes from failure, but regret comes more often from never trying. Regret comes from knowing you had time, you had ability, you had opportunity, but you didn't move. Regret comes from watching others grow while you stayed stuck, not because you couldn't, but because you kept postponing what mattered. Delay is expensive. It costs you momentum. It costs you confidence. It costs you the version of yourself that could have existed if you started sooner. The longer you wait, the heavier it feels to begin, because delay adds weight to the first step. What could have been simple becomes overwhelming, not because the goal changed, but because time passed and fear grew. Growth works the opposite way. Growth compounds. When you take action today, even a small action, you create progress. Progress creates belief. Belief creates consistency. Consistency creates transformation. But none of that starts with delay. It starts with a decision to move now. You don't need to do everything today. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to stop delaying the start, because the start is where growth begins. The start is where regret ends. Imagine the difference between starting today and starting 1 year from now. 1 year from now, you could have skills, strength, discipline, confidence. Or you could have the same excuses, the same frustration, the same feeling of being stuck. The only difference is what you chose to do with your days. Every day you delay is a vote for regret, because you are choosing inaction. You are choosing the comfort of now over the reward of later. But every day you take action is a vote for growth. It is a vote for the future. It is a vote for the person you know you can become. The life you want is not waiting for you in some perfect moment. It is waiting on the other side of your willingness to stop delaying. Comfort feels safe, but it steals your potential. That is one of the hardest truths to accept, because comfort doesn't look dangerous. It doesn't look like a threat. It looks like rest. It looks like ease. It looks like staying where you are because it feels familiar. But comfort is often the quiet enemy of greatness, because it keeps you from becoming who you were meant to be. Comfort is seductive. It whispers that you deserve to take it easy, that you can start later, that you don't need to push yourself today. It offers you short-term relief while quietly taking away long-term growth. Comfort makes you feel okay in the moment, but it leaves you unchanged. Potential is not something you discover by staying comfortable. Potential is revealed through challenge. It is built through struggle. It is earned through the moments when you do what is difficult instead of what is easy. Comfort keeps you away from those moments. It keeps you in the same routine, the same habits, the same level of effort. And over time, that sameness becomes your life. Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they get comfortable. They settle into what feels good instead of what will make them better. They trade discipline for distraction. They trade growth for convenience. They trade their future for temporary comfort. Comfort tells you to avoid discomfort, but discomfort is where transformation happens. The gym is uncomfortable, but it builds strength. Studying is uncomfortable, but it builds skill. Facing your fears is uncomfortable, but it builds courage. Discipline is uncomfortable, but it builds the life you want. Comfort will never demand more from you. It will never challenge you. It will never push you. It will let you stay exactly as you are. And that is why it is so dangerous, because staying the same feels harmless until years pass and you realize you never became more. Comfort creates stagnation. It creates excuses. It creates a life where you are always preparing but never doing, always thinking but never acting, always dreaming but never building. And the worst part is that comfort makes this feel normal. It convinces you that you are fine, even when deep down you know you are capable of more. Your potential is not meant to stay locked inside you. It is meant to be used. It is meant to be tested. It is meant to grow. But comfort keeps it dormant. Comfort keeps your gifts unused, your dreams postponed, your abilities undeveloped. Think about how many people live their entire lives just below their potential, not because they lack talent, but because they avoided discomfort. They avoided the hard conversations, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the discipline. They chose comfort again and again until comfort became a cage. The tragedy is not that comfort feels good. The tragedy is what it costs. It costs you the person you could have been. It cost you the pride of knowing you didn't quit on yourself. It cost you the future that was possible if you had chosen the harder path. Comfort is easy today, but regret is heavy tomorrow. Discipline is hard today, but freedom is powerful tomorrow. That is the trade. That is the choice. The people who reach their potential are not special. They are simply willing to be uncomfortable. They are willing to do what others avoid. They understand that comfort is not the goal. Growth is the goal. Becoming is the goal. Your potential is on the other side of comfort. The moment you stop choosing what feels easy and start choosing what makes you stronger, your life begins to change. Success is built through small daily discipline, not one big breakthrough. That truth destroys one of the biggest myths people believe about transformation. Most people are waiting for a moment that will change everything at once. They imagine a sudden burst of motivation, a dramatic turning point, a perfect opportunity that arrives like a lightning strike. They think success is something that happens in one powerful event, but real success is quieter than that. It is not one moment. It is many moments stacked together. The world celebrates the breakthrough, but it forgets the buildup. People see the finished result, the strong body, the successful business, the confident mindset, the achieved dream, and they assume it happened quickly. They assume it was talent. They assume it was luck. They don't see the daily discipline behind it. They don't see the boring repetition, the unseen effort, the consistent choices that built the foundation long before anyone noticed. Small daily discipline is the real secret. It is waking up when you don't feel like it. It is doing the work when motivation is gone. It is showing up on ordinary days when nothing feels exciting. It is choosing progress over comfort again and again, even when no one is watching. Breakthroughs are not the beginning of success. They are the result of discipline. The breakthrough is simply the moment the world finally sees what you have been building in silence. The breakthrough is not magic. It is accumulation. Every small disciplined action is a brick. One workout is a brick. 1 hour of study is a brick. One healthy meal is a brick. 1 page written is a brick. 1 day of focus is a brick. On their own, they seem insignificant, but over time, those bricks build something unshakable. That is how success is created, not through intensity once, but through consistency always. Most people fail because they underestimate small actions. They think if it doesn't change everything immediately, it doesn't matter. They want fast results, instant progress, immediate proof. But discipline teaches patience. Discipline understands that the greatest rewards take time. Small daily discipline is powerful because it changes your identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become someone who can be trusted. Every time you show up, you become someone who is consistent. Every time you push through resistance, you become someone who does not quit. That interchange is what creates outer success. One big breakthrough cannot build a life. One burst of effort cannot replace months of consistency. One inspired day cannot overcome weeks of excuses. The people who win are not the people who have one perfect moment. They are the people who have hundreds of imperfect moments where they still choose discipline. Discipline is not glamorous, it is repetitive. It is sometimes lonely. It is doing the same thing over and over until it becomes part of who you are, and that is why it works, because success is not an accident. It is a habit. Think about the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That gap is not crossed in one leap. It is crossed through steps, daily steps, small steps, steps that feel almost too simple to matter, but they matter because they compound. The way money grows through compound interest is the way discipline grows through repetition. A small effort today might not feel like much, but a small effort every day becomes unstoppable. The difference between average and extraordinary is not talent, it is consistency. Small daily discipline also protects you from the emotional roller coaster of motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Feelings change. Energy rises and falls. But discipline is steady. Discipline is what keeps you moving when you don't feel inspired. Discipline is what carries you through the days when you want to stop. The breakthrough everyone wants is built on the discipline most people avoid. The life you dream about is built in the quiet routines you repeat. The future you want is built in the choices you make when no one is applauding. Success is not one decision. It is many decisions. Success is not one big moment. It is a lifestyle. It is the small daily discipline that shapes your destiny. Consistency is what transforms dreams into reality. That is the difference between wishing and becoming. Everyone has dreams. Everyone has ideas of a better life, a stronger version of themselves, a future filled with success, confidence, freedom, and purpose. But the dream alone does nothing. The dream is only the beginning. The bridge between the dream and the real life you want is consistency. Most people underestimate consistency because it looks simple. It doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel exciting. It is not a burst of motivation or a sudden breakthrough. Consistency is quiet. It is repetitive. It is doing the same thing again and again, even when you don't feel like it. And that is exactly why it is powerful, because consistency is not about intensity. It is about persistence. Dreams stay dreams when they are only acted on occasionally, when effort is random, when discipline is temporary. When you start strong and then disappear, reality is built by the people who keep showing up, the people who do not rely on mood, the people who do not wait for the perfect moment, the people who commit even when progress feels slow. Consistency is the proof that you believe in your future more than your comfort. Anyone can feel inspired for one day. Anyone can start when it feels easy. But consistency is what separates the person who talks from the person who becomes. Consistency is the difference between wanting change and living change. Every time you take a small step, you are building something. It may not feel huge in the moment, but consistency compounds. One workout doesn't change your body, but 100 workouts do. 1 hour of learning doesn't change your life, but months of learning do. One day of discipline doesn't transform you, but daily discipline over time creates an entirely new identity. Consistency is how you earn trust in yourself. Every time you keep a promise, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you show up, you build self-respect. Every time you do the work, even when no one is watching, you become someone who is dependable. And that inner shift is what creates external results. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack consistency. They quit too early. They stop when it gets boring. They stop when they don't see results fast enough. They let impatience steal what persistence could have built. Consistency teaches you patience. It teaches you that progress is not always visible right away. It teaches you that the seeds you plant today may not grow tomorrow, but they will grow if you keep watering them. Dreams require time. Dreams require repetition. Dreams require a person who refuses to stop. Consistency also protects you from the weakness of motivation. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Some days you feel unstoppable, and some days you feel nothing. If you only work when you feel motivated, your dream will remain out of reach. But consistency is stronger than emotion. Consistency is a decision. It is commitment and action. The world is full of people who started. Very few people continue. That is why consistency is rare. That is why consistency is valuable. That is why consistency creates success. The dream is not achieved by the person who begins. It is achieved by the person who does not give up. Consistency builds momentum. The hardest part is always the beginning, but once you keep going, the process becomes part of you. You stop fighting yourself every day. You stop restarting. You stop living in cycles. Consistency turns effort into routine, and routine turns goals into reality. Your dream life is not built in one massive leap. It is built in daily choices, small choices, repeated choices, choices that seem ordinary but become extraordinary over time. Consistency is not flashy, but it is unstoppable. It is the force that turns the impossible into the inevitable. It is the reason some people rise while others stay stuck. It is the reason dreams become real. If you want your dreams to stop being fantasies, you don't need perfection. You don't need luck. You don't need one big moment. You need consistency. Elevate your thinking. Thrive in your life.